Why do we collect watches? I've taken some time this week to just sit and think about watch collecting and ask myself why one collects watches, and specifically, why do I collect watches? Stay tuned to this episode of Adventures with Time as I reflect on the watch collecting hobby. Believe it or not, I haven't added a watch to my collection in 10 months. In fact, I've sold off several watches, but that's another story which you can hear on my State of the Collection 2020 video. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. What I want to discuss in this episode is why I collect watches, in the hopes that it will help those thinking of entering the hobby or even new collectors to determine if this is a hobby suitable for them. On this channel, I chronicle my activities in watch collecting to provide insights and information to the advantage of both new and long-term collectors. If this content interests you, please subscribe and ring that bell icon. And these days, when we all subscribe to many content feeds, not just YouTube, it is important that you set that alert so that you don't miss when I post a new video. So why do I collect watches? Let's start with some motivations common to many collecting hobbies, which are not why I collect watches. It's not because they are a good investment. Now, I'm not an expert in watches by any means, but from the few watches that I've sold, I believe that watches generally lose value. Of course, there are brands and specific rarities where one can make some money, but I think this is hard for the hobbyist, and there are probably better ways to make money than investing in watches. And I didn't start collecting watches to get one of every type, although I was looking for a variety across styles, complications, and countries, as I said in my first video. I really want a variety at first. But it's not like my other hobbies, such as coin collecting, where one strives for a sample of every date and mint mark. In watch collecting, this would be impractical and very expensive. However, I did enter watch collecting initially because I loved the mechanical aspect of these little machines. The fact that someone can design and make a device that provides and regulates power to display time and includes lots of little features like quick set dates is fascinating to me. I just love watches with display case specs so I can watch the movements in action. But as I've learned and experienced more watches, I began to appreciate the different designs and workmanship seen in these pieces. So here are my 8 reasons why someone should collect watches. First, as I just stated, they are marvels of engineering and in some cases scientific breakthroughs that are intriguing to watch in action. And in trying to actually work on a watch, as I've done, I've seen how intricate and detailed and miniature some of these components are. And it's amazing how they can design these things to fit in such a small place. Second is the beauty and aesthetics of watches. They're interesting to look at. The more watches that I've experienced, the more I realize beyond the movement that there is beauty and detail to investigate. Everything from how the case is finished, the angles, the bevels, the polishing, and especially on the dial, how the hour indices are finished, and the hands, how they're designed to match the look of the dial and add to its beauty. It's like a painting. The more you look at it, the more you discover its beauty. Another reason to collect watches is there is a huge variety of options, a lot to choose from. Whether this be new or vintage watches, many niches such as military watches or complications or even movement types. There's so many directions to go and so many types of watches to experience that I don't think one can run out of opportunities to be amazed and admire these pieces. And along with the variety of types and designs of watches, there's also a variety of prices that one can consider. You could go totally in the affordable direction, or on the other extreme, luxury watches, or a combination, as I've explained I do in my collecting activities. And depending on what type of collector you are, you can go for either readily available watches, or you can go for those hard to find rarities. That area of collecting where the hunt for the piece you're looking for is almost as exciting as having that watch in your collection. The sixth reason that I think watches are an appropriate area to collect is that they're actually functional items. This is unlike other areas such as coin collecting or artwork, where these items just sit there and are stored away. Watches are things you can actually wear, make use of in your daily life, and therefore bring another level of appreciation to your collection. And because they're functional items, they are fun to wear. They add to your style, to your appearance, and they are conversation starters. As a watch collector, you'll not only notice what other people are wearing, but you'll be able to converse with them what you're wearing, what's in your collection, and what you enjoy about watches. And that brings us to the final point that makes watch collecting an appropriate hobby. And that is that there is a nice community of collectors, people with whom you can share your interest in watches, people from whom you can learn, and people who you can teach things that they may not know. But of course, as with everything, there are those bad apples who you have to watch out for and try to stay away from. Don't be dejected by people who don't like your collection or who dismiss what you're doing. Be your own person, enjoy what you're collecting, and don't pay attention to those naysayers. So, have I convinced you to start collecting watches? What intrigues you about watch collecting? Please share your thoughts about this hobby in the comments below. And until my next video, you may want to watch this video on how I search for watches to consider for my collection, or this video on my attempt to purchase a Grand Seiko watch. Thanks for watching.